How's it, everybody? Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another Richard's Rock Rambles. So, what I'm going to do this time around is go back to looking at going solo, and the gentleman I'm going to be speaking about tonight is still very active. Voice is still 100%. Excellent bass player. Started out first in a band called Trapeze, and then he got his big break joining Deep Purple. Of course, I'm talking about Glenn Hughes, otherwise known as the voice of rock. Yeah, he's still going strong today. His voice, in fact, sounds incredible for a man. I think he's in his late 60s, if he hasn't hit 70 yet. And you listen to him today, it sounds like he did when he was back in his 20s. Anyway, like I mentioned, he started out with Trapeze, sort of a blues rock band. Then he joined Deep Purple. He featured on 3 studio albums. There's a bunch of live stuff as well. One of them just behind me here, that's with Tommy Bolin. So he was on Burn with Deep Purple, Stormbringer, and Come Taste the Band. All excellent albums. Some really cool bass work. Come Taste the Band was a little different for some people. I really enjoyed it. It had more of a funk element. And that's something that Glenn Hughes brought into Deep Purple. So he's released a whole bunch of solo stuff. He's also been a member of Black Country Communion, or is a member. They're sort of an on-off thing. Him, Joe Bonamassa, Jason Bonham, and Derek Sherinian. And he's also been part of the Dead Daisies. He did one album with them. He was in a short-lived band called Hughes Thrall with Pat Thrall on guitar. Pat Thrall played with Pat Travis for many years. That album is worth checking out. And he's also done a few albums with Tony Iommi. The last one being Fused, I think. That was in 2005 or 2009. I might get my dates wrong there. Anyway, so he's a very busy gent. He's always touring, if not releasing albums. He's on the road. So we're just going to go through quickly what I've got. I don't have all of his albums by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, he's made a bunch of stuff. And there ain't a bad one in his collection. There's different styles. That's what I like about Glenn. He mixes things up. I'm just thinking now, he actually has been... He appears with so many other people as well as a guest. There's a band called Voodoo Highway, or is it Voodoo 6, or it's Voodoo something. You know, the old brain's not quite working this time of day. Anyway, if you can get hold of those two, just Google Voodoo with Glenn Hughes. And he sings on those albums. Also, really good hard rock, and I think he plays bass on them as well. So the first one I'm going to show you is an album that goes back to 2005 called Soul Mover. Excellent album, this. And this one features Chad Smith on drums, who also toured with him for quite a while. The title track is really good. She Moves Ghostly. I'm trying to think what Orion was very good. His bass work and his singing is top class. Just want to see if there's anything I can show you inside. There's Glenn with one of his many bass guitars. You know, he's like Geddy Lee. He's got a whole bunch of bass guitars. Always played a Fender when he was with Deep Purple. I'm just trying to see who... I think that's the guy from Jane's Addiction. I can't think of his name right now. It should be featured somewhere. Dave Navarro. There we go. He's also on here. And like I mentioned, Chad Smith. There's the 3 guys there. They did a number of music videos for this album. Really strong stuff. Good hard rock. Good driving stuff. Soul Mover, there we go. The next one I want to show you is an album from a few years prior. And this features a guitarist called J.J. Marsh. He is very good. Glenn Hughes on bass and vocals. Chad Smith's on drums here as well. Alex Liggett-Wood and Kevin Dubrow. Those 2 names should ring a bell. Alex Liggett-Wood was the vocalist, sometime vocalist for Santana. And of course, Kevin Dubrow was the singer for Quiet Riot. So they appear here as backing vocalists. So this is a live album called Soulfully Live in the City of Angels, being Los Angeles. So it's a CD. There's a double CD on here. And there's a DVD. And the DVD is worth checking out. You see the way these guys cook together. Really good stuff. Just want to show you. There's Glenn with one of those Fender basses I was telling you about. There he is, looking very pensive. And there's another shot. He's cut his hair, or he's grown his hair again, actually. He's had sort of short, long hair, changes up from album to album. And there's Chad Smith in the yellow, and there's Kevin Dubrow. The late Kevin Dubrow also passed away a few years back. JJ Marshall, yeah, the guitarist, is very good. And there's a great band shot. There's Glenn. So what are the tracks on here? Anything of note? Can't Stop the Flood, Higher Places, Medusa. Now that goes back to his days with Trapeze. Really great track. Wherever You Go, Seafull, Mistreated. And he does a smoking version of Mistreated. Obviously that was originally done by David Coverdale as the lead singer with Deep Purple, but Glenn Hughes pulls it off. And you know, he's one of those singers from legendary singer from the classic rock era who can still pull off singing songs like that. I don't think old Ian Gillan can still do Child in Time, but he can definitely still pull off Mistreated. Getting Tighter, that was from Come Taste the Band. You Keep On Moving was also from there. The Healer and Change, and that's pretty much the same on the DVD. So there's some really great old Deep Purple tracks on here as well. If you can, this should still be available. Soulfully Live in the City of Angels. There we go. Next one I have is called Songs in the Key of Rock. There we go. There's Glenn. And like it says, this is more of a hard rock album. Just trying to read the writing on here. Get You Started is very good. Written All Over Your Face. Standing on the Rock. That's probably the strongest track on here. That's a really good rocking track. And In My Blood is also very good. There's Glenn at the back. I think his hair was a bit shorter. And so I see JJ Marsh is on here again. Glenn Hughes. Gary Ferguson on drums. I think he played with Gary Moore on one of two albums as well. Alex Ligetwood. He's on here, the singer from Santana. And Chad Smith on drums as well. Songs in the Key of Rock. Another one worth checking out. Here he is with short hair, and this is the album called Building the Machine. More of a modern sound to this album. Hard to describe. You know, although he's a rocker and he had a lot of funk in his music, he also had a lot of pop sensibilities, and I think that's what you get with this album. I was trying to see what else. Can't Stop the Flood, Inside, that's a really good track. I Just Want to Celebrate. I Just Want to Celebrate. I think that's actually a cover, if I'm not mistaken. Don't Let It Slip Away. Some of the rhythm section on this, I think Chad Smith's on here again. Pat Travers is on here. Glenn Hughes, Gary Ferguson, JJ Marsh. So it's Gary Ferguson on drums and JJ Marsh. JJ Marsh has been his guitarist for many years, or was his guitarist. Bobby Kimball's on here, so he's ex-Toto. Pat Travers. Who else is on here? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Bobby Kimball. So there's some notable people on here. Also a strong album. Like I said, a bit more on the pop side of things. And this is another double disc. Trying to see if this is a CD. This is a double CD. And this one is called Return of Crystal Karma. And there he is with short hair again. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be that he's holding. It looks like a cylinder or something. I guess Glenn would know. The State I'm In, Midnight Meditated, It's Alright, Switch the Mojo, Ode to Jay, This Life, Days of Avalon is also a really good track. And who's on here? JJ Marsh once again, Gary Ferguson. Yeah, there's a picture of the guys. Also a really cool album. Like I mentioned, he's made so many. There's a lot that I still need to get hold of. I mean, at one stage he was releasing like an album a year in between all the touring. So I don't know where he had time for himself. And you know, if you think about Glenn Hughes, if you ever see his book, I have it here, I just forgot to get it down. You read that book and you think to yourself, this guy's really lucky to be alive. I mean, he was a serious coke fiend for many years. Plus all the rest of it in the 70s. The Way It Is, also very similar to the previous album I just showed you. The Way It Is, the title track. That's very good. Stoned in the Temple, Freedom, Curse. Yeah. Those shoes at the back there. Yeah. I thought that went out with the 70s, but anyway. Just want to see. There he is with his short hair. Looking very different. I mean, these days his hair's pretty long again, so he's, I don't know, whatever takes his fancy, I guess. See if I can see who is on here. Sometimes these things, they don't give you the Gary Ferguson's on here, just JJ Marsh again. Mark Bonilla on keyboards. He's been Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses is on here, and Stevie Salas on guitar. So he always gets some decent members to play with him. So that's that one. Also a really cool album. All of these are very well produced. The sound quality is great. I don't have any on vinyl. I've only got the CDs, which is a shame. I think I've got Hughes Thrall on vinyl. That I do have on vinyl. The last one I want to show you is a strictly blues album, but a really good, and he can do the blues. I mean, Glenn Hughes can sing the blues like nobody's business. And this one is called Glenn Hughes, the LA Blues Authority, Volume 2, and this one's just called Blues. There we go. There he is on his motorbike with his short hair. And I think this was shortly after he sort of dried out and got himself right, and because he had serious drug issues. And this is in the Mike Varney label. He had all those shredders in the early 80s, or late 80s, early 90s. There's Glenn with his bass. The Boy Can Sing the Blues, I'm the Man. That's a great track. Really groovy track, that. Here Comes the Rebel. What Can I Do For You? You Don't Have to Save Me Anymore. Obviously, Hey Buddy. That's I think a tribute to Buddy Guy. Shake the Ground. So all of these tracks are obviously blues-based, being a blues-based album. And I just want to see if there's anything I can show you inside. Not really. Produced by Mark Varney, co-produced by Mark Varney, produced by Steve Fontana and Glenn Hughes. Blah, 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 blah. There's a whole bunch of different people doing guitar solos. Warren DeMartini, I think he was with the band Rat. Mark Kendall, Richie Kotzen, Craig Erickson, who else is on here? Mick Mars from Motley Crue. So yeah, a whole bunch of people on here taking guest spots on the different tracks. That's the blues one. So that's it. That's what I have as far as Glenn Hughes goes. And you can't go wrong with any of these albums. I mean, his voice is amazing on all of them. And his bass work has always been great. I always like his upfront bass work. Lots of melody. And he's a good songwriter as well, which is what he brings when he joins bands like the Dead Daisies that he joined. And I think he does most of the songwriting, at least the lyrics, for Black Country Communion. So there we go. Glenn Hughes going solo. I'll catch you guys again soon with another episode. Take care out there. Please, if you enjoyed the video, down below, give me a thumbs up. Any comments, more than welcome. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. It does help the channel grow. I don't have millions of subscribers, but you know, I get there slowly. Good things take time. Take it easy, guys. I'll catch you soon, eh? Cheers.